Continuing with the topic of forks, the next fork we'll talk about is Ethereum's London hard fork. So the London hard fork is the Ethereum network's latest set of upgrades, or one of its latest set of upgrades, as part of its ETH 2.0 or ETH consensus layer upgrade schedule. It has gone live on Thursday, August 5th, 2021. It is probably one, if not the most publicized blockchain protocol ever, even garnering coverage from mainstream news outlets such as CNBC and Business Insider. Now, it's broken down into 5 new Ethereum improvement proposals, EIPs, that aim to improve the network in a variety of ways. So here are some potential ways that EIP plans to update or upgrade the protocol. So it's looking to add improvements to gas fee calculation. Right now, Ethereum gas fees are extraordinarily high and transaction fees are extremely high. And they were very high, particularly in October and November 2021, December and January as well of 2022, where we saw a spike in transaction fees in ETH, where it was practically unusable, and this is mainly due to overwhelming use resulting from NFT trading, DeFi gaming, and overall increased usage and attention on the DeFi space. We also saw a deflationary mechanism added to Ethereum, where fees collected from transactions will now be burned instead of simply just given to miners. We also saw greater block size variance during times of high usage to accommodate for more transactions being able to be bundled into blocks. That way miners can process more transactions at once. And we also saw the reduction of miner rewards. Miners can no longer receive transaction fees, only block rewards. So here's a visualization of how this plays out for miners. So before EIP 1559, when a block was added to the blockchain, the miner, the person processing the transaction, would receive a block reward in the form of 2 ETH for every block added. So they would receive 2 ETH, and they would also receive the transaction fees, all of the fees. So every time that fees were $150, $200 worth in ETH, the miners were receiving that per transaction. Remember, they're bundling up multiple transactions in a block, so they're receiving a lot in fees, and also the block reward as well, 2 ETH at a time. Now, since EIP 1559 was implemented in this post 1559 era, we see a shift in that. The miner now still receives the 2 ETH block reward, but now they're not collecting all of the fees. Now the base fee, the base minimum of each transaction, is burned. It's actually destroyed, while any possible extra fees that the person may be sending. Let's say someone's trying to send a transaction and they put a tip or they put a little bit extra in fees to expedite their transaction. They're trying to make sure that it gets ahead of the line, right? That tip, that extra fee that the person may be adding on to their original transaction, that's still sent to the miner. So the miners are still making money. It's still a profitable business in regards to collecting the block rewards and the tips for operating on Ethereum. But the loss of base fee caused a lot of controversy and a lot of disagreement with multiple miners who saw this as an attack on the mining community, attack on decentralization of Ethereum, and how it's just basically shunning people who have invested in the community. There's a lot of controversy in that. That's a whole topic of discussion, but this is the basic idea of EIP 1559. So now we're starting to see this creation of a deflationary protocol where Ethereum is actually destroyed, and this is actually taking Ethereum out of supply. There's actually websites, ethburnrate.com and ethfees. There's a lot of websites where you can actually watch as ETH gets burned with EIP 1559. You can see the totals of how much ETH have been burned up to this point, and along with being able to track transaction fees and the burn rate. So every hour, so far we're seeing almost about 3 ETH every minute being burned, which is equivalent to about, let's say, $9,000 a minute is being destroyed. So it's pretty wild to think about. We're seeing in over a 24-hour period on a daily time span, we're seeing about 2.5 ETH, which could be somewhere around $7,000 or $8,000 being destroyed every minute. Now, taking a closer look, this actually had a significant impact on Ethereum's price, right? This event was hyped up. People were talking about it on television, on mainstream news, CNBC, Fox Business, many other sources, CNN as well. A lot of traditional institutions were talking about this potential update and how it would have an impact on the price of Ethereum. And as we could see, going up into the release of it, there was an general increase in price. We see the launch of EIP 1559 on August 5th. Ethereum was about $2,700, and a general increase throughout August resulting from that, we could arguably say. The next protocol update we'll take a look at is Cardano and the Alonzo upgrade. So another recent instance of a protocol upgrade influencing a currency's price action is Cardano and the Alonzo upgrade. In September 2021, the release of the Alonzo upgrade introduced smart contract functionality, which would strengthen the network's position as a true competitor to Ethereum. There's a lot of potential competitors and a lot of rivals to Ethereum. Currently, Ethereum is the major blockchain network in terms of smart contract usability and capabilities, but there are many competitors such as Solana, Cardano, Avalanche that are quickly building capabilities to do so. And this is one of those moments where Cardano solidified itself as a competitor and a blockchain network to keep an eye on and watch for the future. Now, Input Output, which is the developer group behind the Cardano network, announced on August 13th that the launch date of Alonzo would be on September 12th, 2021. We see this in the form of tweets, website announcements. This is another instance of having a Twitter, and following these development companies can be a useful tool because we can look for these specific dates. This was on August 13th that they had announced this update, which is a major update for any blockchain. And as a result, August 13th, here we see the announcement. So there was a bit of a run-up in price regarding that. And we see even on August 13th, Cardano was about $2 a coin. The following days after that, Cardano would continue to climb, surpassing $2.40, $2.50, and would even ultimately reach near the $3 level. So this was a significant play that one could have made just on fundamental analysis alone.